Welcome to Skydive's episode 4 entitled Introduction to the Paranormal. Thank you so much for joining me on your journey to the paranormal. As we continue our journey, you will soon become an expert in the field, increasing your vibes into the paranormal. You will be part of us who live with the gift of being a psychic, a medium, or any other gift of that nature. I want to tell you, if you know you have this gift, embrace it. Some people believe it is a curse. It is not. It actually is a beautiful thing. Just think how you can help so many people. As we go along, you will soon realize how wonderful it is to have this gift. How lucky you are to have discovered which gift you possess since birth. And just as I was mentioning, very often, you could help people around you by getting or giving messages from beyond, important messages. These messages will and do help people where they could clarify certain dilemmas they are trying to figure out, or even help with emotional distress after they have lost a loved one, helping people in many ways. As I had mentioned in my first podcast presentation, the one before episode 1, that I was going to give you examples of my different experiences, which I have done in every podcast. So let me give you another example of helping people with your gift. I'll make a long story short. I remember one day as I was having lunch at work, doing crosswords, and out of nowhere, I get a message from beyond. That voice I was hearing was telling me that I had to warn a coworker about an incident that was going to happen in the upcoming weekend. Later in the afternoon, I happened to pass by her office. Discreetly, I told her in detail of what was going to happen. You know, when someone says it was jaw-dropping, well, that was the look she had on her face. The upcoming weekend was a long weekend. Well, guess what? She is the one who came to my office 4 days later to confirm that everything I told her came true. Everything happened to the letter. Of course, she asked how I knew in advance. At that point, that's when you realize how hard it is to explain to someone that the message came from beyond. My point is, it helped her emotionally because she told me she remembered what I had told her, to stay calm, that her family member was going to be all right. The car, not so sure, but what was important is that everyone was okay physically. Maybe a little bit shaken up after the accident, but hey, you can't have it all, right? So let's start our next topic from where we left off in the last podcast, episode 3. The different ways or signs on how to detect a haunting presence around us. Now, Remember when in episode 1, the different hauntings, I said that a property or even a house, a building can be haunted. Even the person can be haunted. Well, here are different ways or signs telling you that your house, your property, or your surroundings can be haunted. Very often people will feel like someone is watching them, like being spied on. For example, a person would be taking a shower and then moves the curtain because that person thinks there is someone standing close by. Hey, it happened to me recently. And then to find out a few days later that yes, I saw parts of an apparition coming out of the door, like, sneaking in discreetly. Or, and I don't want to scare you too much, but the person would come out of the shower and see a word or two written on the mirror because of the steam. Yes, that absolutely happens. Not only in movies. Or you could be anywhere in the house and then you feel someone standing close behind you or next to you. Like when I have a spirit around me, when I cannot see it, I can definitely feel it. I feel the energy that it emits. Sometimes faint and sometimes really strong. Some people have also reported feeling the spirit's breath on their neck. Or I myself sometimes feel a cold sensation close to me, and I would not be close to any vents or fan or whatever you might think. That would be another sign. For no reason, there is a sudden temperature drop. That temperature drop could be felt around and close to you, or it could be felt in one specific area. So when you go back to that specific area, it always feels cooler than the other rooms in the house or the building. Feelings of being touched by unseen hands. Yes, absolutely. Have you ever experienced a spirit touching you? It has happened to me a few times. One of those times was when I felt a hand coming up my leg. That hand was so cold. I mean, worse than ice cold. Wow, I did not like that. That, I have to say, was a bit scary. Especially when you least expect it. Or sometimes when you brush your hair. Some have reported and seen a strand of her hair lifting up, and yet no one was there. Yes, that does happen. Or sometimes you might feel the hair on the back of your neck, as we say, standing up, or even on your arms. I remember being close to a spirit that came to visit me. His energy was so strong, I had goosebumps on my arm. It was crazy, I tell you. A cold breeze, when you're standing still, and then you feel a cold breeze as if someone is standing close by you. When you know that you are alone, or no one is physically standing or walking by you. Depressing feeling, or feeling sad in one particular room or corner of the house. Yes, absolutely. It can happen, and it does happen to some people, depending how sensitive they are to their surroundings or the energy around them. And you feel this way for no particular reason at all. And it's always the same area or place in the house where you feel that way. Some even experience anger or frustration for no particular reason. Different emotions are felt in specific areas in the house. Lights turning on or off. Yes, it does happen. A bit scary when you have no idea of what's going on, but it could also mean that the light bulbs are not screwed in properly, just a loose light bulb. Don't panic. Check things out first. Light bulbs blowing frequently. Again, don't panic. Maybe the light bulb in place could have been from a cheap brand. Once again, check into it first. Try to debunk first before jumping to any conclusion. Sounds of items being dropped. But when you go to investigate, you don't see anything that could have dropped on the floor. Or there could be something that did drop on the floor. Investigate. Maybe the item that fell on the floor was right on the edge of a furniture, or it could be, for example, the cushion on the couch that could have been misplaced. If after trying to check every possibility you still cannot explain it, then yes, it could be caused by hauntings. Seeing unexplained shadows from the corner of your eye. So common. You know, when you're doing something or just sitting and out of nowhere you see something move or some kind of shadow from the corner of your eye, you turn quickly and there is nothing. Yes, that could be a possibility. Another example I could give you from one of my experiences is one day as I was watching TV, on my left side at the other end of the living room, I saw a shadow at first that took a human form, and it looked like a man with a hat crossing my living room, going from one wall to a mirrored closet door. Strange behavior of a pet, such as dogs barking or growling towards a direction where you cannot see anything, or cats staring in a particular area as if they could see someone, or if you see them staring at a wall, for example, and you see their head moving as if they were following a laser, but you know there is nothing there. So, yeah, that could definitely be another sign. Hearing voices or whispers, or someone mumbling something. For example, if you're in the kitchen and then you hear talking towards the living room, you go see, and there's no one. Sometimes the voice or voices could clearly call out your name. By the way, if this happens, make a recording out of it. Then you could listen to your recording, and sometimes a message could be heard or given for you or someone else. So, as you can see, there are many, many different signs that make us aware that the house or the building or even the property is haunted. Sometimes some of these signs can warn us of any evil intent from the other side, the spirit world. That's why you always have to remain respectful towards the spirit, the spirit world, because you never know who and what you are dealing with, and of which you cannot see anything or anyone. These signs are just to name a few, and the most common ones. Of course, when we deal with evil ones, then the signs are more sinister, if you will, and more physical. But that will be for a more advanced course or podcast. When you realize that those are signs that you experience in your house or around you, do not jump to the conclusion that your house or the building or property where you are is haunted. Keep in mind that it might not be haunted at all. There could absolutely be an explanation for whatever is going on. That's when we use the word debunk. In other words, meaning you have found an explanation to the sound you heard, or found an explanation to whatever manifestation happened around you. I remember mentioning in one of my previous podcasts that just a simple sound or noise heard could be a plumbing problem, or the pressure in the pipes that make them shake a little. Don't panic. Just as I always say the 3 C's, remain cool, calm, and collected. Friendly suggestion. If you can, when it happens, take a video with your cell phone or tablet or camera, whatever you got. Because sometimes we can see more details with these devices. Spirits can be invisible to the eye, but caught at the right moment can be seen in one form or another with a camera or a recording device. Well, we've reached the end of our show for today, and unfortunately there is no time left to start talking about the tools or equipment used during an investigation, or that you could use at home on your own. Can't wait to discuss our next topic on episode 5. This time, don't forget, be ready to take down notes. Until then, may I say have a nice day or sweet dreams? And thanks again for spending time with me. Till next time.